All right, what up? Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all y'all motherfuckers.
You are now listening to the Inner Circle Podcast Network.
And that's just what it is.
Get them titties out. Get them kitties out. Get them cooters out. Get them pooters out. Shit happen when you party naked. Shit happens when you party naked. Get them titties out. Get them kitties out. Get them cooters out. Get them pooters out. Shit happens when you party naked.
What's good, fuckers of mothers? Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All of you, all of the above. You are listening to Shit Happens When You Party Naked. Maybe you're even watching it if you're watching the live stream. I am Jason Alme. I'm the host of this bitch. And welcome. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by none other than Liquid Death. Mountain water. Murder your thirst. Drink Liquid Death. Listen to Shit Happens When You Party Naked. This sound right here that you're about to hear, that is one of the most satisfying sounds in life. The cracking open of a aluminum can filled with whatever beverage you've chosen. Liquid Death is canned instead of in a plastic bottle. You're never going to get that satisfying crack from a plastic bottle, you Evian drinking soy boys. So fuck off with the plastic. It's like 18% recyclable, 12% recyclable. This can. This is like 98% recycled. On top of that, this thing looks fucking sick. And that stupid ass, look, if you're drinking Dasani, unsubscribe from this podcast right now, you poverty fuck. Go spend the money on a new pair of flip-flops because you need them, okay, for your trailer, because it's a dirty floor in there. But if you're not a Dasani drinker, I mean, if you drink Dasani, you might as well just drink toilet water at that point. Just go fill a Nalgene up from the toilet and drink that. Who gives a shit if it's a little yellow? But look, if you're a high school graduate at the bare minimum who appreciates the finer things in life, go get some Liquid Death, liquiddeath.com. Use code PARTYNAKED when you check out. You'll save 10%. You'll be helping out the show. That applies to the drinks. That applies to the merch. I myself like the black can. It's black like my soul and my favorite race of people. Also, the can is much sicker than the white can. I like the bubbles. I like it when it sparkles. So y'all, please go check out some Liquid Death because that would be fucking phenomenal. For me, for you, go murder your thirst. Go support Shit Happens When You Party Naked. I love all you people. Tonight on the show, I got a very special guest. This is the man who hosts the Unfit Statesman podcast. It's kind of a big deal. Not going to lie. I'm not going to fuck around. He's a big deal. He's from Jersey. All right. That's how you know he's a big deal. His name is Zach Brown. Welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing, man?
Absolutely. I'm doing fucking great. By the way, I have my plastic bottle of Poland Spring here. And let me just give you a reason why. I'm glad that you brought up that plastic is not very recyclable. My goal is to ruin the environment. We don't need an environment. Everybody, let's save the earth. Why do we need it?
2 months ago, I would have agreed with you because everybody was all about like saving the earth. And I was like, fuck the earth. The earth has been around like 4 billion years longer than me. The earth needs to save me. I don't need to worry about this fucking ball of rock that's going to still be here in another 10 billion years. Earth needs to do something for me. Why I got to worry about a fucking ball that's still, but except now Liquid Death is helping a brother out. So I gotta say the can is sick, the bottle is whack, and trash the earth in some other way. Like go burn a bunch of coal like China does.
Yeah,
that's cool. As long as you're drinking Liquid Death while you burn all the coal, put all that smoke up in.
Do everything China does. Go find your nearest Muslim and snatch him up and hold him against their will. China's
China's a fantastic role model. Have you ever seen Mulan? God, I love that.
Mulan. Yeah, no, but I saw it like the original cartoon, and it was
Yeah.
I was so young. Like a lot of people like to rewatch
I
what they
mean,
watched when they were kids. I don't do that. I really the only like Pixar cartoon, or it was Pixar, right? Or was it Disney? It wasn't Disney. It
I think
wasn't Disney.
that was like 90s Disney. That was like Eddie
Okay.
Murphy did the voice of the dragon. That was like
Yeah.
pre-Donkey, I think. I think that might have
Yeah.
been like pre-Donkey.
Yeah. Okay.
Or he did
Well,
Donkey and Shrek.
I rewatched Toy Story. I didn't mind rewatching
Mm.
Toy Story, but the other ones I just never rewatched. You know, because
Do
every like
you?
I'll see memes now of people
Yeah.
they post memes about like Bambi, and I'm like, you are behind on the rent. Stop rewatching
Yeah.
fucking Disney. Enough.
Yeah. I don't the Bambi I don't get either. I probably haven't seen Bambi in 30 years. And even then I was like 8 or whatever. I'm looking at my mom like, this shit is boring, mom. What the fuck are we watching Bambi for? Shit. But
Because fuck.
do they yeah, exactly. Like Thumper. I
Yeah.
remember that little piece of trivia. The horny rabbit's name was Thumper. And I mean, even in Bambi, they're like teaching you like these rabbits is horned up, man.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you shed a tear in Pixar movies though? Like I can't sit through
No.
a Pixar movie without like I get a little at the end. I'm like, and my wife is like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh,
I can't do it with animation because I can't get into it. I mean, honestly, I
mm,
can't watch a cartoon movie and take it seriously. I love
yeah,
South Park, love Family Guy because they don't take themselves seriously.
yeah,
So, but if you present to me an animated movie, I'm gonna find your most fragile family member and fucking hit him in the back of the head because I don't want
yeah."
to.
That would
It's
probably be
ridiculous
right
to me.
too, though.
I tell you what
Yeah.
though, I will cry. I cried. Uh Recently I showed my girlfriend Remember the Titans, and
Okay.
after the car accident, the scene where he goes into the hospital room, and she's like, "Oh, it's only family," and then the guy goes, "Oh, he's my brother." Of course, the nurse was clearly confused. Let's be clear, that nurse, like, they made her feel like a piece of shit in that movie. She was right to say this is only family and
Yeah.
friends, or at least family, because it was a black guy and a white guy, okay, and it was
Yeah.
the 50s. She just that poor nurse was brought up in a household where her father drank every single night and fingered her mother in front of her,
Beat
and
the shit out of her.
absolutely
Absolutely. That belt
rifled.
stayed off.
Oh yeah. I feel like belts have gotten less. Like I feel like people, when they'd manufacture belts back then, kept in the back of their minds, oh, so this
Yeah.
is going to be used to beat a kid.
It was half an article of clothing. It was like half an accessory, but it was also half a weapon. Like you might have to pull this off to defend yourself. There could be bears. You could be in Alaska. You need to be able to whip this belt off. Now I feel like belts have like lost all of their teeth, so to speak. Like but the belt I'm wearing right now is like a cloth belt. It wouldn't do shit. Like you can't snap it menacingly. Like, the leather, you could like fold it in half and it would snap all loud and you'd be like, oh shit, I don't want to get hit with that. Like if you were a kid and your dad like looked at you and he's kind of reeked of vodka and he'd hit that belt a few times, you'd be like, oh shit, I'm totally fucked. He's so hammered. He's going to lay into me. And, they're not meant to anymore.
They're not meant to. I mean, you could see it in the belt as soon as they started making those. Those belts that would come with like khaki shorts, the like the fabric belts with the metal buckles.
Exactly what I'm wearing right now.
Yeah. That's
Exactly
when you knew that like the manufacturers had said, you know what, we're no longer. This is no longer a dual use product. This is solely to keep somebody's pants up. And it's not meant to, first of all, by the way, it's odd because everybody is very against beating children, and I am too. I am against it, but let's also look at the generation of children who haven't been beat. I was never beat as a kid, and I'm horrible. I'm a horrible person. Okay,
100%. Yeah.
my grandpa would get fucked up, and he was like 16 working on the railroad, and he made a life for himself. And it's like, maybe, like, I understand that we shouldn't hit kids that much, but
Mhm.
when
But
you
like once in a while.
yeah, when you compare generations, when you go, this generation didn't get hit, this generation did, the generation that did get hit is always more successful.
I think I think there's something to be said for like I'm more of like an occasional beater with like, but really savage about it. You know what I mean? Like if it's,
Absolutely.
you got to keep people on their toes a little bit, I think. And I think that's a big thing. Like if you're scared you might catch a beating, I think you're going to be, that's going to be in the back of your mind at the very least. You know what I mean? Like they say an armed society is a polite society. And if I talk shit and someone whips out their belt and then proceeds to beat me about the face and neck with their leather belt, and maybe I would think twice about talking shit the next time.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
do think we should reinforce things with violence if at all possible.
Yeah, and people forget how useful the tool really is. And it's not, you shouldn't resort to first step, but second step maybe, because it's a very useful tool. There's a reason why things always end up there. That's the last step. It's
Yeah.
because that's the one that usually finally capped off. It will solve whatever the quarrel or
Yeah.
qualm or whatever Q word that also means fight. I've been doing a lot of reading lately. You know what I mean? It usually you're a father.
Indeed. Yes. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. When you look at your son, you see a part of yourself. You see
It's actually my daughter, but yeah, I mean, very much
daughter.
It's a,
Okay,
yeah,
well,
it's a girl.
that completely fucks my question up because I was saying, do you have an insecurity that he's going to grow up and get a big and have a bigger dick than you?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I mean, even though it's a girl, it's not going to take much. You know what I mean? Plus, I might have. Basically, it's going to happen.
Here's the thing, though. I was saying I've been saying this for years now, and I believe it is true. I believe everybody has their father's penis. I believe that's a fact. I believe that if you ask anybody who's seen their father's penis and remembers what it looks like, they look down at their penis and go, "That's my dad's dick."
This is a joke for everybody watching. It was about this long.
That's funny.
It's a joke for the viewers, not so much the listeners. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Visual joke indicating that it went from my mouth all the way to the back of my throat. Yes. Yeah.
Whatever can rough up a larynx. That's how long.
Yeah. I think as Cardi B said, it hits the dangly thing in your throat.
I don't think. See, Cardi B purports to want that. I mean, even if every girl likes a big old hog, but I don't feel like that is that's not pleasurable for a woman to just get absolutely skull fucked. You know what I mean? It's like no, like if you ask a woman, like if you could have anything you want, do you want to suck a dick that gives you a sore throat later, or would you rather just lay down and get your pussy eaten and then have him go back in and then pull out again because he's gonna come and then eat your pussy again and just get you there? Do you just want to get there, or do you want to be fucking like? I feel like it's a lie to say, like, women are lying.
I'm following you because one is very like he's gonna romance it. It's all about you. There's sushi on the way. The other one is like he is just using you as a whole. You're just a fleshlight with feet, and
never forget it.
Yeah, at best you're gonna have a tombstone pizza afterward. That's if you're lucky. And he definitely drinks Dasani, is what I'm saying. It's the difference between a delicious bubbly water in a recyclable can and a toilet water Dasani. So
now, is Liquid Death an energy drink or what is it
exactly? No, this is 100% mountain water from the Austrian Alps. It's water and carbon dioxide. That's the only thing.
So you're drinking sparkling water, basically.
I'm drinking sparkling water, except instead of a bottle. Yeah, it's in a can. And so this isn't going to keep me up late, which is good because my daughter wakes up at 5 a.m. and it's my turn tomorrow morning. And it's always a good night to podcast when it's your turn to get up with the daughter at 5 a.m. This is going to be great.
Are you still with her mother?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think she can hear me. I think she can hear me right now, maybe.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, she totally can hear me.
Listen, I'm something of a parent myself. I just brought home 2 kittens today. Okay?
Dude, I actually need to ask you about the kittens. You went through some shit. I listened to the episode that you dropped today where you bitched about kittens for like 47.5 minutes about 2 kittens. I think you did like a whole hour-and-a-half episode solo.
I had real points to make, and I just was like, I can't do. I'm not in the state of mind to make a political point here. I have to get this off my chest.
Yeah. So why is it? It must be some aspect of the state of New Jersey, because my wife and I adopted a cat here in New Hampshire, and it was pretty fucking easy. We just went to the Humane Society and they were like, "Hey, we got cats." And we were like, we'll take one. And they were like, "Well, here you go. Sign here, give us $35, and then hopefully we never see you again." And it was pretty no muss, no fuss.
Was it a cat that had already been like domesticated?
Like as opposed to like a wild, like a mountain lion cub,
No.
or that would be pretty
No,
sweet.
I mean,
Although I'm
well,
afraid it might eat my child.
was it a feral cat, like an outdoor cat when they got it, or was it like? And how old was it?
I think the cat was pretty young. She was still pretty small. She died of feline leukemia. You talked about feline hates today. I was like, oh, I gotta let you know this cat died of feline leukemia about 3 months after we got her. We had to put her down.
Christ. How'd you do it? Shovel?
Yeah, no. It's New Hampshire, so we've got big snow shovels, and that's pretty efficient. They've got kind of a sharp blade, so you can do like the guillotine maneuver. But in all seriousness, we took this cat to put her down, and we'd only had her for a couple of months. She was only like, I don't know, 4 months old or 5 months old or something. And I was just feeling so terrible that she'd had this like short life. We fried a turkey for her. Like I had to like, what's your last meal? Like do you think animals have like a Make-A-Wish type of, like they would wish for something, like the way kids like do a Make-A-Wish? I want to meet Spider-Man or some shit. I want to see Sofia Vergara's titties. I want an 8-year-old to be like, I want to see Sofia Vergara's titties before I die.
How would be amazing.
How can you say no to that? You'd be like, all right, 8-year-old, we got to hit Sophia on Twitter or something like that. See if she can make that happen for you. Because how do you say no?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't say no to a little kid.
Just a little bald boy there's like the priest in the room who's praying over him to try to get him better, and the mother and the father in the room, and then Make-A-Wish.
He's got to hang on until the titties come through.
Yeah, the CEO of Make-A-Wish comes in a suit, and he clearly is like emotionally detached from this, and he's looking at his watch. He's like, what do you want? We gotta, what do you want? And he goes, I want to come all over fucking Emma Watson's titties. And the mother and father are like, oh my God. And they're like,
he's only 7. I don't know where he learned all this.
I don't know where he learns all this. And he's like, I want a fucking prostate orgasm like Dad used to make me do. And everybody's like,
oh my God.
No, so I take these cats, so they're feral. They got them off the streets, okay?
So you had to adopt. You went through a rigmarole to adopt a feral cat that's going to fucking claw your eyes out?
Two. So here's the thing. So I guess that this is
a horrible deal.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm starting to regret it.
People home with you. Like, I'm going to take this homeless heroin addict home with me. I'm going to let him sleep on my couch. We're going to get him back on his feet. This totally isn't going to go to shit. He's going to steal everything in your house and defecate.
Basically exactly what I'm dealing with here. I have 2 homeless people in my bathroom right now because you can't let them, because they run. Feral cats will fucking bolt if you give them enough room. So you got to put them in a small room for the first like week so they'll get used to not running from you. And that, first of all, I got two. One was a 4-month-old, one was a 2-month-old. The 4-month-old is Rose, and the 2-month-old is Mimi. And Rose is a fucking cunt. And I kind of love it because she already took a swipe at me. I was giving her her food bowl and she just went foosh like that. Yeah. She didn't give a fuck. Like when she looks at either my girlfriend or I, she'll look and go, ugh, fuck it, ugh. Like she's disgusted at our presence. The thing is though, because I've spent my whole day today in the bathroom with them, trying to get them, because they haven't acclimated to each other yet. They have not acclimated to us. The other one's okay. Like you pick her up, she won't really, but Rose is, she's a little fucking, she's definitely like an all lives matter cat.
So we were talking about violence earlier. And I think I actually believe with, maybe not so much with like human children, but like definitely with animals, you got to like lay down the law. You can't have a conversation with an animal and reason with them and say, hey, this is why I don't want you to tear the couch up and piss on the carpet. You have to be like, yo, like you were saying, like violence is essentially everything is backed up. That's like the currency that just backs everything up. That's like the gold. Like they talk about the gold standard, the silver standard for backing up currencies, but like violence is basically what's going to back everything up. Like if I can fuck you up, boom. And that's how it is with the cat. You got to be like, yo, I'm big.
You got to abuse your pets.
Yeah.
You have to abuse
your
pets.
Like regular abuse, I don't know. I don't know about like a daily, I don't think you need a daily reminder, but every now and then when they swipe at you or whatever, like
Yeah.
my cat will go after my wife and she's like, no, 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 he just needs to play and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, he needs to play. He's got fucking toys. Like he can fucking play with some of their shit. He's got things to scratch. He's got shit to chase. He can play with the kid. She chase him. What he doesn't need to do is bite and claw your. So she'll like, hold him down. And she's like, wow, he hasn't fucked with me because I held him down. I remind him I could fuck you up.
Well,
So that's
here's the thing. So
do.
I got Rose before I got Mimi. So I went and got Rose today and I took her home. Okay. And she's been hiding behind the toilet all day. And so at first though, like when I would go and pick her up, you grab them by that tuft of hair and then you pick them up and then you hold them. And Rose at first, she was kind of like, she still looked at me and said, just so you know, the only reason I'm not fucking murdering you right now is because I'm physically not capable of it. But when I brought the other cat home and then my girlfriend got home, it was like too much. It was like too much stimulus. And then I swear to God, like I picked her up and I put her like over my shoulder and I was like, I'm bringing home your younger sister later. And she goes, all lives matter. And I'm like, what? And she goes, don't bring any minorities in. And I was like, what? Rose, stop. And then the other, unfortunately, her younger sister, Mimi, she's half black, half white. And then I brought her into the bathroom and then she looked at me and goes, what did I tell you? What did I tell you how I feel about how people should stick with their own kind? And I was like, Rose, you can't be saying this anymore. This is a new time.
Yeah.
You can't be saying
prejudiced cat. That sounds like a prejudiced cat. Do you think animals can be racist? Like, I mean, humans are racist and we're animals. So like, doesn't that seem like,
well,
we had a dog in college. My college roommate had a chocolate lab. So it was like a pretty dark Labrador and, it would bark anytime.
Very athletic.
It was very athletic, dog. And she would bark anytime somebody black would come over. Like we and black friends, of course. I don't mind admitting it on the internet. And whenever they come over, she would not, it's not like she'd bark until she saw the person and then she'd like wag her tail. That's how she was with everybody except black people. And whenever black people came over, she was like not cool with the idea of like a black person. And it's like, you guys are the same color, dog. Like, why are you getting upset? And anyway, like, everything's cool, but this dog was like literally like it was a legit prejudiced animal. And I've always wondered if that's like very common amongst dogs. And then how do you get the dog to stop being prejudiced? You know what I mean? Like you can't sit that dog down with an audiobook of white privilege and like get them to open their mind about other people and commingling and diversity and try to bring them into the 21st century way of thought. It's a dog. You can have that conversation.
Yeah, so here's how you stop getting a dog or any animal to stop being racist. You gotta suspend them from Twitter and Instagram, and then you push them. It definitely works. See, that's what people. Jack Dorsey and Zuckerberg. I love how they're like, this is gonna work. This is how we'll end racism. We just won't let them speak. But what they don't understand about people who are racist is like, if you in real life, basically what you're doing to them is going, shh. You're looking at them and going, shh. But what they don't understand is if that happens in real life and they've just had one or two drinks, they're going to go to their safe and pull out their fucking Remington and shoot you in the head because they're not, they're very impulsive people. So when you say you can't speak, they're going to say, well, you can't breathe then.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I actually feel like if you have a social media service, you have like a you have like a Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and if you ban people for doing or saying things that are like not popular, obviously racism is not a popular thing, but if you just ban them, it's sort of like when you have a whole bunch of like you're cleaning your room, your mom's like clean your room, and you just like push everything under your bed. It's like, look, it's clean now. It's like, it's not really, you just fucking like, you just hid the shit. It's kind of what you're doing by like booting them. You're just like, all right, well, just don't be on here. Like you can go somewhere else. We just don't want you here. It feels like you're just kind of like, we've hidden all the racist people so you won't see them, but they're still out there. They're over there on Parler or whatever.
Parler. Listen, I got a Parler, by the way.
I do too. I do too. Yes.
Yeah. So it basically, how come we don't follow each other?
I'm bringing the Black Power to Parler.
Okay, so basically, I've had quite a few interesting interactions on Parlor. I've had people just absolutely love what I say, and then I've also had people absolutely fucking one of the people said that they hoped that I would die, and it was because like
Mhm.
someone said someone there was
Oh, shit, no.
an article about abortions, and then made some like coat hanger abortion comment and how I thought it was funny, and
Yeah,
so it's like at first, because when
that'll
I
carry
wanted to go to,
you, Mark.
yeah, I
No,
wanted to
that'll
go to Parlor and say I wanted to say faggot, I wanted to say retard, and not get in trouble. That's all I wanted to do. I'm not conservative, I'm not liberal either, but all I wanted to do was just make sure that there was a place where I could literally just fucking let it fly and not have to worry about someone accusing me of something, right?
yeah.
So I started and at first, I was getting great responses, right? Because it's low hanging fruit at this point to make fun of liberals because they're just so shitty. Um, but sometimes it will come up where someone will post something, and I'm like, "This is fucking hilarious. I'm gonna shit on this guy," and then his fans will just they'll fucking go after you. Like they say, conservatives
Yeah.
don't get as offended. You just got to hit the right buttons, and when you hit
That's
those
what I think
buttons,
it is.
yeah,
I think everybody's a hypocrite, and I think people will say, "Oh, we don't get as offended because we're," but no, you just like you can get a Trump person all out of whack if you say something negative about Trump or whatever. Like people still, it's like any group of people. If it gets large enough, you're gonna find people who will get offended and get all like self righteous and shit. And it's all about like whatever's like working for you in the moment. You know what I mean? Like uh people on the left, Democrats, and everybody who voted for Joe Biden, no one's complaining about the Electoral College or the Russians right now. 4 years ago, fuck that Electoral College. The Electoral College is racist. We got to ban it from Facebook. You know what I'm saying? But it's
yeah,
like if it worked for you, you're not gonna complain. But if it's not working for you, then it's racist. Basically, is the way that goes.
yeah, and that's a good thing. It's good to falsely accuse people of racism, keeps them on their toes.
100%. Yeah,
And
100%.
so like say a guy said,
It's like
he was
snapping the belt at somebody. You know what I
right,
mean? Keeps people on their
exactly.
toes. It
There's this
reminds
like
people.
there's this fucking fragile aura around people now, and they go, well, I can't move my arm this too fast this way because I might break that fucking glass around me, and if I break that, that's going to let everybody see, or they're going to think that I'm a racist, and that's a good thing because everybody is racist all the time. Thank you very much. Everybody's implicitly biased. Everybody has subconscious racism. Nobody likes black people. All white people are disgusting, and they should hang themselves in the street to remember the tragedy of Emmett Till.
I think so too. Yeah, 100%. I don't think I could say it better.
And that's backed by Poland Spring. Just kidding. By the way, I have to make a disclaimer. That is a joke because they will get upset. I learned this the hard way the other day, and I'm not going to tell you why, because, or not on air anyway, but if you say something and then kind of transition into speaking about a brand, they will get very upset.
So
Just
yeah,
say,
I appreciate how maybe Poland Springs would not want to be associated with your rampant misogyny, racism, and rape jokes. It's like the
listen,
three things you can't. It's like the three things you can't joke about. The three R's, right? You can't joke about race, you can't joke about rape, and you can't joke about retards. Those are the three R's that you cannot joke about. You can't touch that shit.
yeah. I see. I was in Petco earlier today, and there was I talked about this. I had to pre-record because I'm going up to Connecticut to see my mother
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving, and I'm not.
CT.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the
Welcome to New England, motherfucker.
we're gonna go tour Bridgeport. Look at all the boarded up buildings.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm sure we'll get robbed. But I was talking about how I was at Petco, and it was earlier today. I had to get all the shit because like we went and visited the fucking two foster psychopaths that were fostering like 800 cats at a time, and then they were like, "You just want them?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Is that how this works? After all I did on this application process, I had to give references. Like, is this just how it goes? I was like,
To adopt a feral cat? That's
yeah,
fucking
bro.
ridiculous.
Yeah, bro.
I had to give references to get into grad school. You got to give references to get a feral cat? That's ridiculous.
It's
That's so
It's
ridiculous.
absolutely insanity. It's inane. It's fucking worthless. But anyway, so
But
I
what is
go.
that? I mean, who's is this like government of New Jersey, or is this just like the Humane Society
No,
policy?
yeah, it's the specific companies, but I applied to multiple like shelters and places. They all references fucking where do you work? Do you have a stable income? It's like all you have to do is like I said this in the podcast in the response. I walked in. You got to walk into the place. You say, "I'd like a cat, please," and then they should go, "Do you have enough money to cover the fee right
Yeah.
now?" And you go, "Yeah." And then they should go, "You go pick whatever you want, and you fucking leave."
Yeah.
That's how that should work because taking care of a cat is not a big deal. Although I will say these fuckers that are currently in my bathroom
Yeah.
probably fucking fist fighting over
Dude,
nothing.
there's shit on your ceiling right now.
Absolutely. Well, they
It's
said that
on
they're
your
house
nose.
trained. It's really weird. They said that like all their shots are up to date and they don't have feline AIDS, but they're like, well, we got them when they were 4 months and they were completely feral. And I was like, well, like
That's to me, that sounds like these cats were born under our back porch, is
they
exactly
were,
what that like. Okay.
they were,
My first
they're
cat, when I was a kid, we adopted a cat that got born. I used to skateboard and we had a half pipe that we'd built in the backyard. Right?
is that how you got away from your father when he drank? You're like,
Yeah, we
come
get
here.
hot in that
And
thing.
then you
Yeah.
go up and then you go
And
up
it's
on
like
the half pipe.
raining and I got my knees up and I'm like sobbing. Yeah, it was awesome. That's why I'm funny today. It's because I was beaten and molested as a child. It's great. I'm really lucky to have had that
You
childhood
you know
experience.
what I love about the word molest? It actually just means like harm or like
Yeah, like
impede or get
disturb
in.
something,
So when I hear somebody go, and the process needs to be unmolested. Like if you speaking of the election, you go,
unmolested.
you need an unmolested election of integrity, and everybody's like unmolested. You
I
brought
love
molested into the dialogue.
that's such a great vocab word because it does mean like don't fuck with my shit. Like leave my shit alone. Like I want to
Mhm.
come home and I want my things to be unmolested when I arrive home. I want them to be orderly and the way I left them. I love dropping unmolested as a vocab word on people because people are like, you want me to undiddle your things? You don't want me to untouch their testicles. Okay.
You want me
That's
to
weird.
push the
Weird
comeback
request.
into your dick hole? You're wild, but I'll do it.
Yeah, you're wild, but hey, anything's
I
worth
want
a
my
price.
I want my molestation to be unmolested by anybody else. Leave me alone when I'm molesting.
Yeah. Yeah, don't molest me while I'm molesting. Leave me unmolested.
Don't molest my molest. Do
Don't
you want
molest
I don't
my
know how to make it
molestation.
more clear to you people. When I
This
am molesting, don't molest my molesting.
this is not the inception of molestation, okay? We're not going to do a molestation inside another molestation inside another molestation and at the bottom this guy's spinning a top to see if he's getting molested or not. That's not how
Don't
this works. Just one
I
level
see
of molestation
unmolested molestation of a mole.
of a
We found
mole.
it. We've
Yeah.
reached heaven, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Which, if you're scientifically inclined, a mole is not just a furry little animal. It's also Avogadro's number, which is 6 times 10 to
Oh,
the
yes.
23rd or something like that. Avogadro's either
That's
22nd,
actually
23rd.
how many
Avogadro's
that's how many unmolested molestations I've done is
that's,
mole.
that's the depth of the molestation.
Is it
The
does it
molestation
that
section.
number only it applies to depth or it's just an infinite or like what is that? Or is like curvature?
The Avogadro's number is like how many a mole of a thing. It's like
It's
you know,
it's
you have
a quantity of another quantity?
yeah, so like it's how you count really small particles. Like when you got
Yeah.
atoms, like they're really
Yeah.
tiny, you're not going to count them.
Yeah.
But you're going to say if I have like 6 grams of oxygen, then I have because that's oxygen is number 6 on the periodic table, I believe. I'm just doing it off the top of my head, which means that 6 grams is like an Avogadro's number. It's like a fuck ton. Basically, it's a harder way of saying it's more syllables. It's like saying a fuck ton. You got a fuck ton of these really tiny little things, and you're not going to measure like each little individual unit. You're just going to say, I got a fucking mole of this shit.
The judge goes, you've been convicted, you've been found guilty of mole molestations. And everybody's like, what? And you go, molestations. They're like, how many is that? And they go,
Ooh.
well, it's so many that we actually can't, like, we don't have digits, like numerical digits to describe it. So we've
I
classified
feel
it
like
as this.
if they were gonna do like a number for molestations, they wouldn't call it Avogadro's number. They would call it Michael Jackson's number. I'd be like,
Yeah.
this guy's molested a whole lot. He's got at least 2 Michael Jackson numbers right there. That's
Yeah,
like when you
MJ.
molest a whole Neverland ranch full of kids.
Yeah. It's like it's MJ to the nth power.
As
That's
you
how
were
they
saying, with the cat adoption, though, it should be a one-step process. You got one box to check. You go in, and the guys say, okay, write a check for $35. Check this box here that acknowledges that you have seen our terms and conditions and that you have promised, you have pinky sworn on top of a Bible not to fuck these cats.
You
And then
have
you go.
pinky sworn to not put this pinky that you're wrapping around my pinky in the cat.
Yeah.
That's all that should happen. But I mean, it is wild though, because I mean, I get like I take him home. I knew that Rose was retarded. I knew that she was mentally retarded. Good
But
cat.
she's a fighter, though. It sounds like she just wants to scrap.
Yo, she just wants to go to she wants to join the Proud Boys in Washington, D.C. and fight Antifa. That's all she wants to do. That's all she wants to do. She has so much fucking outrage towards her half black, half white sister. And she's like, this is not the situation that I wanted to be in. They should have just left me on that fucking street and let me fucking freeze to death in a New Jersey winter. She wants to be with the Proud Boys fighting Antifa, yelling slurs, trying to say, joining the Stop the Steal rally. That's all that Rose wants to do. And I've taken that away from her. I do feel a little bad because I'm not allowing her to express her First Amendment right.
Yeah, but we got to do everything we can to help these animals to get past their prejudice. I mean, the animal kingdom is really very violent. I mean, we were talking about how violence oftentimes backs things up. And sometimes it's even crazy to think about as a human being, like how much of our everything social is all built on this bedrock of violence. Because if I jaywalk and I get a ticket, if I park and I get like this $15 parking ticket, and I just say, fuck you, I'm not going to pay it, then eventually they'll issue a warrant for my arrest. I don't show up in court. The warrant's out for me. Now they're looking for me. They know where I live. They're going to come to my house looking for me. And if I say, fuck you, I'm not going to go, they're going to bust my door down and drag me out, which is a form of violence. If I resist being dragged out, they're going to escalate the violence against me. They're going to tase me. They'll pepper spray me. And if I continue to resist, eventually they will shoot me, which could potentially be lethal to me, which is crazy to think that even the smallest of infractions, the tiniest little thing, jaywalking, I mean, something nobody gives a fuck about, some nonviolent offense, like let's say I didn't fucking pay the right taxes or whatever, and I owe the government some back taxes, and I'd like to dispute that fact. If the government decides I'm wrong and I owe them money, even though I've never once been violent, they are going to bring the violence to my doorstep, all because I refuse to comply. And that's a fucking weird thing to think about, but that is the bedrock of violence that backs everything up. Because if they let me get away with this shit and they don't come fuck me up, everybody else is going to try to get away with this shit. And then they're going to say, you didn't fuck up Jason, so you can't fuck me up. And then no one's paying their taxes. So I can appreciate why the government looks at me and says, dog, you either give us the $17 in back taxes you owe us, or we're going to have to eventually put a bullet in you, which is kind of a fucked up thing to get shot about, although I'm sure people in Compton have been shot for less. It's just a weird thing to think about. But at the end of the day, violence is, I mean, everything's built on top of that. Hopefully it doesn't get there, right? I mean, if I owe the government $17 in back taxes, I'm unequivocally, I'm going to pay the $17 instead of getting shot. But I mean, if I really put my foot down out of principle, I could get shot out of principle. And that's the thing about the violence that it's very subtle. It's under, it's very like, it's not above board. I mean, unless, you're in Minneapolis and you're black, then the cops are just, unfortunately, they're killing you left and right. But most of the time that violence is, they push it down. It's not overt. It's not right out in the open.
People are misunderstanding Derek Chauvin. He was a good man. He was actually taking a knee with Colin Kaepernick. He didn't realize that there was someone under him, and they just took a knee. He just took a knee straight on a fucking. I forget
I'm not sure how he could have missed that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Sometimes, he had knee pain all his life and they've been giving him, Percocet. So a lot of his knee was numb and he didn't realize that there was a black guy under there. Look, there's always black guys under me. I'm like, whoa, Jesus Christ. Like, you never know. You never know. They just
Yeah.
pop up. Listen,
Yeah. It's
Rose
rough.
is with you here. Rose, I can speak for Rose. I am her attorney. Rose is with you here. She's a libertarian who believes she's very proud of her Western culture. She
Yeah.
does believe that, immigrants should have to assimilate. She has made it very clear that she does not like taxes. She does not like big government. She's not a huge fan of interracial couples.
Yeah.
And
I know the libertarian platform, but yeah.
Rose has the libertarian path. Look, Rose has made it very clear to me that as
God, I voted for
long
Joe Jorgensen. I'm a little upset now. I voted for that.
yeah, well, look, I when I brought her home, the first thing she said was, "Look, Zach, I'm fine with faggots. Just get it out of my face." That's what she said, and I went, "Rose, Jesus, just I got you a bed." And she was like, "I'm fine with faggots as long as I'm not forced to watch it." And I'm like, "No one's forcing you to watch it, Rose." And they're like, "This is why they shouldn't get married, because they force it down your throat. It turns into something else. It's equality. Then they get more than us." And I'm like, "Rose, hey, they just want to get married."
I mean, but aren't you personally concerned that they're going to be showing our children in a scant maybe 2 or 3 generations? They could be showing our grandchildren or great grandchildren pornography in schools. Aren't you worried? Aren't you concerned?
Well, I don't have a child, so I don't have that. Like, I know exactly what you're saying, but I don't have the emotional connection to that subject because I just don't have children. But like, I think I know where you're going with it, and I think like, it all started with this tranny reading at the library. You remember that? It was like tranny reading time. So like these public
Is that a thing?
libraries. No. Yeah, it was, and it was a hot topic of debate for a while.
Is that in
Shapiro was
Jersey?
on it. Yeah,
I
that
don't
fucking
think I missed
Shapiro.
that kind of-
Say it again.
I don't feel like I missed that kind of news that much.
You
Usually
could
that's
have
like
it.
at the forefront.
So it was
God, I
like,
must not have listened to Rush Limbaugh that week.
yeah, yeah, or
I'm
the fucking whiny Jew Ben Shapiro. He was on it all. He was a big, like, I listened to him talking about it, and that's how I learned about it. But basically, there was I forget exactly where it was at, but it was multiple different in multiple different states where these trannies would come on. They'd come dressed up in their best tranny whatever, and they would read. And at first you're like,
So was it
okay,
like they would? Was it like
no, but it was
like a
like
drag show? Like it was like
oh,
very
yes,
like,
yes. Sorry, not
okay.
tranny, drag. They were
Like a
like
drag show. Was like
drag
the
queen.
RuPaul thing where it was like, I love
Yeah,
that stuff though.
yeah. No, but the problem was that they weren't just reading to them. They were like twerking in front of them and doing like crazy sexual, like,
I saw something about this. It looked like it was
yeah.
a little girl's birthday party or something.
No,
Yeah,
it was,
that's
it
a
was,
little.
it was the
I mean,
reading. It was a library. It was reading
okay.
time.
Yeah, okay. That must have been it done. I just, I don't know about the twerk and the sexual stuff in front of the
Look, there's
7-year-old.
no better way to expand a child's vocabulary than have them watch a tranny twerk, and then his skirt slides up and they see the nutsack bulge in those tight ass panties.
Yeah.
There's nothing better for a child than it's good.
I think the
Exposure
best
there.
thing to do and at least when I'm wearing my wife's underwear, this is how I do it. I
yeah.
like to, because the way, I mean, look, a woman's underwear, I shouldn't even have to say this, probably goes without saying for most of my listeners, a woman's underwear is not, it's not designed to like house the same bits, right? They're thinking
Yes.
when they design a woman's underwear, we have to cover a vagina, but they're not thinking we need to hold a penis and scrotum filled with 2 testicles in this underwear, and they're certainly not thinking of my prodigious scrotum skin. I've got a lot of scrotum
Ooh.
skin,
Oh,
so
yeah?
it's not even like I got that much nut.
You
It's just
know what you could do though? You could cut some of it off and just pull it over your microphone and use it as a pop filter.
I thought about that, but then that also sounds really fucking painful. But so when I wear my wife's undies, what you let that underwear like split the nuts off to either side. You know what I mean? So they kind of hang out, right? They're not really fitting in anyway. But what you might as well do is like let it run down the middle, split them out, and then this way you have that sort of like sense of surprise that like when the skirt starts coming up because you're twerking, then when they get a peek, when it finally comes out, they're like, oh yeah, hey, those are two testicles
Exactly. Well,
pushing out of the women's underwear. And
you know,
that to me, that makes me feel sexy when I wear it like that. I like that.
honestly, I didn't even know about the tranny reading time until Rose told me. Rose was informing me a bunch. She looked at me. She goes, "Did you hear about that tranny bullshit at the public library?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Well, you better fucking gear up for this because we have some fucking sexually confused faggots dressing up in drag." And I'm like, "Oh." And I'm trying to teach her. I'm doing my best. I even hung up a Black Lives Matter sign in the hallway.
Yeah.
She could see it every time I take her back and forth. She
Yeah.
refuses to
A cat does not
acknowledge
like
that
that.
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, I feel like that's problematic. I mean, have you ever thought of maybe having that cat put to sleep? I'm just
Okay,
saying.
well,
I think there's a
we've only
solution to that. It's
yeah.
also called a final solution, I think is what Hitler
Here's
what
the
I'm
problem.
saying though, is that we can take care of that, if
Yeah,
that cat
I
doesn't
think I
run.
know exactly what you mean. We've only had Rose for a day, and she's made a lot of good points. Um, I think what I'm going to do is try to change her by doxing her, right?
Yeah,
Taking a video of her saying this stuff and doxing her, and then
being on
letting
the internet.
people
Yeah.
send her hate online until she kills herself so I don't have to do it.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. That's a good way to do it. I mean, I've thought about shooting my cat before. The one that we didn't put to sleep because it had feline leukemia, the one that obviously didn't, and he's just a dick. And I have thought when he wakes my daughter up, I think about shooting him. But then maybe that would be better to just kind of get him to kill himself. I don't know how a cat would do that. And I have opposable thumbs. It's kind of hard to kill yourself. All you can really do is run in front of traffic, I think, when
Just
you're an animal.
she'll take the claw and she'll just swipe.
You think you could do that? I
Brother,
wonder about that shit.
let me
What's
tell
that?
you Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, okay? The way Rose swiped at me, like I'm being serious. The speed of her
Yeah.
paw when she swiped was unlike I grew up with dogs, okay? Dogs are fast. Dogs are quick. I have never seen anything like that. She
Cats are
swiped.
pretty quick.
I
Yeah.
mean, I like it. She swiped her paw and was done for like a second before I even moved my hand back. Like the reaction time, the reflexes of a cat are absolutely retarded. And it's you can't even process like in the moment, you can't process what's happening until it's already done. So I think she has like the velocity on her paw
Yeah.
to be able to slit her own throat.
Do you think you could do that to yourself though? I feel like it's
Yeah, I
easier.
mean,
Like it's hard. Like I'm always like, if I'm smacking somebody else, because they've upset me or offended me, I'm smacking them with my belt. But like if I'm hitting myself, it's like I never can, you know what I mean? Like I don't think I could slit my own throat. I would just go like I'd be too easy
yeah.
on myself. I wouldn't be able to like really, get it in there. So I
Well,
don't think I'd do that.
so it depends. Like this is going to tie in real nicely. So everybody stay with me until I get to the point. I was watching something recently and I don't know what it was about. And it doesn't matter what it was about. Um it was some psychological show. If you bite your finger to literally bite it off, it takes the same force as biting off a chunk of a baby carrot. But your mind controls so much of your body and your psychological state that when you bite your finger, it
Yeah.
it feels like you're applying so much more pressure on your
Yeah.
finger than it does a baby carrot. But that's all it takes because that's all, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
all in your head. So I
It feels
definitely
a
think
lot
that
harder than a baby carrot though. I don't know.
no,
It's
but
just
it's not necessarily that it's the fragility. So like so I mean it is harder than a baby carrot, but also you like it's not as thick as a
yeah.
baby carrot. So it's like technically your jaw clamping down has to apply the same amount of force to a
Mhm.
baby carrot as it would your finger to get them both severed. But you can't because your fucking brain goes, nope. What are you doing? What are you doing, motherfucker? Nope.
Yeah.
So
That's the same
I
with
think,
slitting your throat, I think. I just don't think I think your brain is like, no can do. Like we got
yeah,
something built in to the operating system that's going to prevent you from opening your own jugular up.
you have too many all lives matter protests to attend to do this. That's basically
Dude,
like Rose couldn't do it. Like she could, she has the physical capabilities of doing that, but she can't because her psyche says, "Listen, you're gonna lead a revolution. If you think the Proud Boys are a problem, just wait till the fucking Rose Boys show up. They're gonna fuck everything up. They're gonna start spray painting fucking swastikas on the Capitol buildings. They're gonna start throwing bacon at mosques. They're gonna do everything, bro."
dude. I mean, can you imagine though, like living without bacon? I fucking love bacon.
Yeah, that's why Muslims make a good default enemy when people aren't getting along. That's why I say we should invade Iraq again because we're having a lot of civil unrest, and
Yeah.
let's get a
Well,
common enemy again, and the Muslims seem to do that
yeah.
pretty well.
I think people say why invade Iraq again? You know what I mean? Like it worked so well the first time, but then I say if at first you don't succeed, try again. You know what I mean? There's no
Absolutely.
reason why you shouldn't take a second crack at something that you were unsuccessful at the first time. You might have better luck the second time.
Yeah, I mean it is ignorant and politically retarded to ignore the fact that we need to go into Iraq again and we
Mm,
need to start doing a lot of damage to like villages, not even like military bases, just
yeah,
village. Let's go around
just
to
village.
villages and fucking ruin them.
Yeah,
I mean, let's start carpet bombing Syria and Lebanon and fucking, there's a lot of countries that need to be bombed and we're not doing it.
I
And
think that's it.
that's the reason I don't like Trump because he's not bombing enough.
He's not bombing enough. Yeah, he needs to bomb more. He definitely needs to
Yeah,
bomb more. I think people are focused too much on the things that are wrong with Trump that are unimportant, the trivialities. You know what I mean? Everybody's concerned about him being churlish and boorish and just a poor statesman and not very presidential at all. But it's like, yo, I know
some
he's a
some would say an unfit
statesman,
statesman.
dude. Yeah, but I'm like, why don't we focus on the fact that he hasn't made the military industrial complex one dime? We need to drop some bombs. These guys need to make some sales. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go bomb
100%.
some. We need to
Listen,
go make some sand into some glass, people. Let's do this.
DARPA doesn't do advanced research and have technology that's 25 years past what modern society has for no reason.
Yeah.
We want to get ahead. How do you get
Yeah.
ahead in this world? You murder people, you murder innocent people. And to be very specific, you murder innocent brown people who practice different religions than you. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a very simple concept that a lot of people don't understand. I feel like one of those Instagram people who are like, I built an online business in 3 days and now I'm a millionaire. You want to be the same? Well, follow these easy steps. Well, I'm going to tell you how to be successful. Kill a brown person who doesn't see religion in the same way that you do. And congratulations, you have climbed the top of the corporate ladder. You'll wake up, you slit the throat of a brown person who doesn't practice the same religion as you. And then you wake up the next day and you're in a suit, you're in a fucking luxury hotel. And you're like, what the fuck happened? And then
Here's
fucking
how I mastered imperialism in one easy step.
yeah. God, Jesus, and Mark Cuban come out of the fucking closet and they go, congratulations. You've
Welcome
made it.
to the
You're like, what?
Illuminati.
You're like, what the fuck is going on? And then
Now.
George Soros comes out and he's like, you've made it. And then fucking Bill Crystal and a whole bunch of neocons and like all Raytheon CEOs. And they're like, we need you on our fucking team. And you're
One
like,
of us
what's
now,
happening?
yeah.
And you're like, you killed that Muslim with a lot of confidence. And we like confidence here.
We love imperialism. This is perfect. You're going to be great for this job.
We're going to give you $5 million of free Boeing stock. And you're like, because of the Muslim? And they're like, because of the Muslim.
Because Boeing wants to kill them Muslims. We can't lose focus on that.
Rose has got me all fired up. She's like, look, you want to succeed in this world? You go kill a Muslim. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking ready to go.
I feel like Rose would be good at that shit.
Rose is not a good influence on me. She's going to fucking get me sent to prison.
I think she's going to get you banned from Facebook at the very least, or Twitter.
Did I tell you, I got suspended from Twitter.
What did you do? Did you say
so
Star
let me no, yeah, multiple times. I'll tell you exactly what it was. While I'm pulling up what I said, I'll basically kind of give you the backstory. What happened was this fucking idiot said that he was trying to make a comparison, like the transition between Trump to Biden as the same as in 1979 in Iran. Because basically, let me give a quick backstory here. 1953, U.S. stages a coup in Iran. Okay, replaces the leader with like a very Western
Yeah.
tilted ideological leader, and then all of a sudden Iran's kind of democratic. You have women wearing miniskirts and driving around and going to jobs.
Voting and working
Yeah,
jobs, learning how to read.
yeah,
God, it was horrible.
it was
How could
fucking
they let? How could they slide
disgusting.
so far? I mean, this is terrible.
Yeah,
God,
exactly. And so yeah, they were building churches, they were
we
building
had to get in there and
schools.
stop
Yeah, it was getting a little out of fucking hand.
way
But
out of hand.
I think I fucking deleted it. God damn it. But
Next thing you know, these women are going to think that they're equal.
yeah. So basically what happened was I fucking deleted it. I can't believe I did.
How dare
I'll,
you?
so basically in 1979, uh a guy subverted the regime that was in place that America had put in since 1953. He came back in, he reinstated Sharia law. Women put the garbage bag over your heads and
Yeah.
don't come out without your husband.
Yeah.
And all that, all the mainstream Islamic practices. And they were saying that like that situation that I just described to you is the same situation as going from Trump to Biden. And this guy was trying to make Biden look good by comparing him to a fucking ruthless dictator that led Iran to the state that it's in now. And I was like, this guy's literally mentally retarded. Okay. So I said, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'll give it my best shot here. His name is at Paul, I'm calling him out, at Paul Skallas on Twitter. PaulSkallas. I said, this is the most objectively retarded thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I once saw a mentally retarded person give birth to another mentally retarded person. And then they both looked at each other and said, you're retarded. And then they named the retarded child Paul Skallas after the retarded doctor that delivered the retarded baby. And
How'd you manage to fit that into one tweet? That's a lot of character.
no. It was condensed. I got a lot of good material packed into.
That's where you have to go to notes and you like type the whole thing out in notes and then do a screenshot and then post that in your tweet. And then you're like, I circumvented your character limit, asshole Jack Dorsey.
Well, I did. I put it on Twitter. I got it under the fucking character limit, but then I don't know if it was him. I'm assuming it was him that reported me.
Yeah.
Someone reported me and then I got suspended. But my favorite thing is they suspended me for 12 hours and they suspended me at night. So of those 12 hours, I was asleep for 8 of them. And I'm like, I'm going to come back and do the same thing.
Yeah. I just, you know what? Like, I'm fine with Twitter having their rules and saying like, look, this guy said retard 3 times in one post. We gotta
like 6 or 7.
Yeah, you got to bring it down on them for that. I'm fine with Twitter having the rules because everybody's got their rules. And if you want to have your rules, have your rules. Twitter always blows my mind, though, because they'll enforce some rules. Like you can't call another person a retard because that is saying retarded is like a pretty bad word these days. But on top of that, it's like you're like calling someone a mean name. It's hurtful. It's like you're kind of being abusive and attacking them. However, if you want to post a 30 to 45 second video clip of a barely legal 18-year-old girl getting spit roasted between 2 obese guys with humongous wieners and nothing is blurred. Yeah, everything. This poor girl is getting it from both ends, and these dudes are just like they're 300 pounds each. She got 600-pound dude on and in her, and she's just gagging and about to throw up and crying tears down her face, and they're just like pulling her hair and smacking her ass. And that is okay to post on Twitter because free speech. We are okay with you posting 45 seconds of this poor girl who was probably coerced into this sexual act on camera because she comes from a broken home and a poor, impoverished family, and maybe from an area where there's not a whole lot going on economically, and yet that's okay.
And guess what the color of skin of the girl that he just described was? He didn't come from an economic.
What are you imagining? I'm imagining a tiny Asian lady from Vietnam. What are you imagining?
I was imagining some black girl from the south side of Chicago.
Really? Okay. Well, yeah, South Side is a rough area, and I mean,
Yeah.
when you grow
She
up,
has her fucking weave off, and it's just her natural hair when she's sucking your dick. She's like crying.
yeah, and you always think that mascara running because they're like gagging to their ears. But what I'm
Oh
saying,
my god! Hold on. Before we go any further, did you see Rudy Giuliani's fucking hair dye run down his face
uh,
during a live press conference?
that's bad. That's not good. You
Did
know
you
what?
see it?
I can't feel. I did not see it, but I can't feel bad for him because when you're 87, you need to let that shit just go gray. Somebody needs to tell
Absolutely.
Rudy, like, "Yo, dog, you're like pushing 90. You're almost my grandma's age. You just need to let it go white. There's no reason for you. It's one thing if you're in your 50s and you want to like, you're getting a little too dusty and you want to put a little dye in there. I understand, but when you're literally 90 years old, you need to let that shit just go white, and then you won't have that problem. If you start to perspire, you're not going to look like some silly ghoul with black shit going down his face from his
Bro,
hair.
I don't let me see here. I'm literally gonna show the live stream here because it is so it is so insane. Like, it not only is it fucking noticeable, it's like it seems like it's planned. It seems like it's fucking
Like he meant to do it. Here, I'm gonna
yeah. No. Can you bring it up?
if I can. Yeah, I'm gonna share my screen. I'll show it to the stream if I can. Let's see. Well,
Here,
I need
I've got it. I've got it right here. If you can, like, look at that. Holy shit.
There we
I
go.
mean, it
He's I mean, he's leaking. He looks like he's leaking. That
bro.
one that's a good one. Because
Yeah,
he's just
I
he
mean,
looks like
it's
he shit his pants and his head, and like it's somehow leaking out of his head too. I don't know. Yeah, that's not a very good look for you, I don't think. Like people already calling him Giuliani and shit like that. That is
bro.
kind of scary, sort of ghoulish look to be having, you know? It's not a very good one.
I mean, look, he has been fighting for relevancy for a while now. He actually does. Listen, I'm gonna make an honest admission to you, fans of Shit Happens When You Party Naked. I listen to 77 WABC radio. You say, what's that, Zach? It is a conservative talk show. Okay.
Oh, yeah, my man's Rush Limbaugh.
There. I said it. I will. By the way, I fucking refuse to rush Limbaugh. And didn't he die? Didn't he?
He's ill, but I don't think he's died yet.
Okay.
They're gonna make a big deal out of it when he does, but I don't think he's doing very well. I think he's a little unhealthy. I mean, I don't know how he outlasted somebody like Chadwick Boseman, but
Yeah.
I certainly didn't expect him to. But
Yeah.
you know, cancer's a bitch, and we
No,
don't.
I don't listen to Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck, but there is a radio station called 77 WABC. There's a few nationally syndicated shows that they play. They do Shapiro, they do Mark Levin, maybe one or two more, but Giuliani is on there now. Like he has a show on that radio station. So I listen to him every once in a while. And first of all, he still can't speak. Like he still has like a lisp or a speech impediment of some sort because he cannot speak. But he's, this whole time, like during this election fraud thing, he's like, I've got so much evidence. It's going to be able to overturn the results of the election. And it's like basically a redundancy, just over and over, just saying that. And it's like, well, it's been like 3 weeks now. Okay. I've been holding this piss in for a long time, and I want you to release it for me. Can you tell me what's going to happen? Because I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored. So he goes out, he gives a press conference, right? And even if he would have dropped an H-bomb of evidence that shows that Trump is, in fact, the president for the next 4 years, and that Biden cheated, and that the election fraud was so widespread that it's going to overturn the election and Trump won in a landslide, nobody gives a fuck because he put apparently toner from a fucking printer in his hair and he sweat it down his goddamn existentless jawline. What the fuck is going on?
He just dumped India ink on the top of his head. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know.
I mean, not only that, like, first of all, you see the makeup, like the separation between like where his jawline should be and then his neck, and
I
you
love
see a
when you see that
separation.
when it just cuts off and it's like all like it's like orange, pink, it's like that nice kind of tan look, and then it's like right here, like right under the jaw, and then it's like you get like 3.5 inches of just like pale ass skin with like all the, you're like, couldn't you just like you're not even doing your own makeup. There's a lady who's doing it or whatever. Couldn't you just get down to like the cuff of the shirt or whatever? I don't understand it, but I always love when I notice that. I'm like, you're wearing makeup, you bitch.
Well, the fact is that, I mean, not only let it go gray, he has like the horseshoe, right? Where it fucking just shave it off, Giuliani.
Yeah.
Just shave
I
it off.
gotta
Just go bald.
I gotta agree. There's one thing, the problem though, and I'll explain to everybody listening right now why it's so hard being a white male, a heteronormative cisgendered white male. Let me tell everybody why it's so
You
difficult.
have
What happens
fucking
is
no idea. Why don't you sit
no
down and
idea.
listen, you
People have,
pigs?
yeah. Let me just educate everyone. So when you go bald though, as a white dude, like if you're Terry Crews, you look good bald. If you're a white guy and you go bald, you look like Michael Stipe from REM. You have to start juicing, period. If you're a white guy and you go bald, you got to get in the gym. You got to pump up. You got to do the protein shakes, possibly even anabolic steroids. Everybody hit my DMs at Party Naked Pod. I'll tell you all about how to use anabolic steroids to your benefit. But you got to get like jacked and swole. Otherwise, you look like a cancer patient if you're a bald white dude. And that's really one of the drawbacks. And if you're Rudy Giuliani, that means he needs to shave that thing, but that also means he needs to start like getting in the gym and pumping up a little bit, because otherwise people are just going to say, yo, are you in treatment? Are you right next to Rush Limbaugh, who I did find out he was diagnosed with lung cancer in January of this year. And it's kind of aggressive, like, and it's progressed a little bit. So, I mean, it's not like the worst. It's not like pancreatic cancer. God rest Alex Trebek's soul, R.I.P. My man's Alex, but it's still it's kind of advanced. So Rush might be fucked. I'm just
I,
saying.
I jokingly was. I didn't say I was glad that Alex Trebek was dead. I did not say that, but I was
No.
joking because everybody was very upset. Okay, and I understand why. I liked him too. I watched Jeopardy. I liked him. He was a great host. He was a good guy. He
Yeah.
seemed like a very good guy. But I just thought it would be funny to be the only fucking person in the world to say that, like, look, he might have been a piece of shit. We don't know. You didn't know him, like. And then one of my close friends got upset at me because on the podcast that week I was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do without the fucking Jeopardy host?" Like I was just trying to be fucking, what do you call it, incendiary,
Yeah.
and he was like, "You don't know what he means to some people. You don't know the family." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, and it's funny that I don't, and that's why I fucking went onto my podcast and I decided to, go against the grain because that's funny." Not, going with the grain and going like if I would have just went onto my podcast and went, I'm a big fan of Alex Trebek and I'm, here to say that everybody's gonna miss him and
I am
I miss
beyond
him.
broken at the
I will
loss.
never be able to get an erection again. I don't
I
know if
wasn't before, but I really won't ever again. Now that he's gone, I thought maybe my erection might come back if Alex Trebek survived his pancreatic cancer, but unfortunately, this erection is gone. This penis is just for show now, guys. It is
I've been
just a
I've been
whole lot
reaching out.
now.
I've been reaching out to Blue Chew for a sponsorship. They refuse to respond to me. I don't know what to do anymore, guys.
All the Blue Chew in the world will not. I could microwave Rose the cat, and it still will not bring an erection to my nether regions. So I don't think anybody would laugh at that at all. I don't think anybody would find that funny if it's just like Alex Trebek.
No, I mean, like, yeah, it's sad. Yeah. It's sad when a fucking white guy dies. Yeah. But like if I go on and go, I don't need to do the bit again, but if I do that, everybody that's listening to me is going to go, "Oh, I heard this on Twitter already."
Yeah. What is
If
this
you
guy?
tell me if you tell me to follow what's happening on Twitter, Nobody's going to listen to my shit because they have the same shit on their timeline as you do, motherfucker. And that means that if they come to me and hear the same shit that's on their timeline, they're going to get bored with me. So that's why I have to make cat in the microwave jokes. I have to make rape jokes and race jokes and retards and faggots and
I love the cat in the microwave to get an erection joke. I just think the idea of microwaving a kid. I like the idea that like when you start out on your kind of your sexual journey in life, it's like you're
you
young.
never start there. Cat in the microwave. That's a rare start.
No, it has to progress. What I'm saying is that it starts out always like you look at the Sears catalog at 13 because there's no other access. I mean, back when I was 13, there was no kids have obviously if you're 13 now, you just open up Twitter and 3 clicks later, you're watching a girl get like in between 300-pound dudes just getting railed and crying her mascara off. And that's fine. But when I was 13, it's like you start with the Sears catalog and you're like, oh my gosh, that girl is wearing nothing but a bra. And it's like, it's enough to arouse you. But then as time goes on and you become an adult and an experienced person, you can look at a Sears catalog, you can walk through a Kohl's, and it doesn't matter that you see a model there standing in a negligee or whatever, or her panties. It's not even arousing to you anymore because you're just like, whatever, it's just a fucking panty ad. I'm not even gonna look twice at it. And it's like as things go and as you explore these realms, this inception like layer under layer under layer of sexual depravity, eventually you have to continue to escalate. It's just like the violence we were discussing. It's like you say no, then they come to arrest you. You say no again, they tase you. You say no again, they shoot you. So it's like that. Like I mean, if it starts light, maybe a little bit of light spanking, that turns into choking, that turns into like full on BDSM. What can we fit in my anus? How hot can we make it before we cram it in there? Can you actually funnel melted wax? Can you actually pour it into my urethral hole of my penis and get all of that melted wax?
This be the passageway that El Chapo escapes from prison? Absolutely. Yeah. It's the law of diminishing returns. That's what that is. It's the law of diminishing returns. When I was young, when I first started masturbating, I would masturbate to nothing. Like I would just think something up in my head and I would do it. And it worked. And it worked great.
Pretty well.
And apparently my neighbors think it's a good time to fucking vacuum.
I don't hear the vacuum if that helps.
Good. I'm good because
10 o'clock at night is a fucked up time to vacuum. I got to say, like neighbors, I've had my share of shitty neighbors in my time. And it's like, I don't know why they want to do fucking housework at midnight. They're doing construction behind my my townhome, my condo, and they'll start like on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, like I've got a baby in here for one thing. If you fucking wake her up, I'm going to murder every last one of you and your families. And I'm going to microwave your cats in order to get an erection. This is not a fucking game. Don't wake the baby up at 6 a.m. if she's still asleep. I'm trying to get my last hour in.
Yeah, I used to live under a family of Eastern Europeans. And if there's one thing about Eastern Europeans is they have no real like they're very not self-aware and they don't have any boundaries. And so like
Russian gangsters.
Yeah, I think they were from either the Ukraine or Hungary. One of the two.
I don't think they were from Russia. They're terrifying people. Wow, they will kill you.
Yeah. No, well, the guy did. I never saw like he always wore long sleeves, even in the summer, and I was like, "What the fuck are you fucking?" But
that's a gang member for sure.
They literally there was times where it would be like 1:32 in the morning, and I would just hear them fucking vacuuming. And the fact here's the craziest part: their disrespect for their downstairs neighbors was not even the most baffling part of the whole situation. They have school-aged children.
Oh, yeah.
And at 2 in the morning, they were fucking vacuuming. And it's like, look, if you don't give a fuck about me, understandable. I look Irish, even though I'm not entirely sure that I am. And I'm sure Ukrainians don't give a fuck about the Irish. I get it. Yeah. I don't either. In fact, I think that they should be bombed and the survivors should be put in internment camps, just like the Uyghur Muslims in China. Okay? They're disgusting people. So are the Scottish. I'm either one of the two. Whatever I am, that's who I want put in those camps. They literally 2 a.m, and I'm like, because I had met the kids, I know the kids, they're good kids, and they
Yeah.
were nice, by the way. They were good people. I like them, but fuck, you have school age children and you're vacuuming at 2
Yeah.
a.m. on a
Makes you
Tuesday.
wonder how they live. Like, what do they do? They just sleep from like 5 p.m. till midnight, and then they pop up and do their chores till 2 a.m. And then they bathe, and then they like get off. They do their homework.
They don't bathe. You fucking know that.
I
You
just like
know that.
benefit
Don't
of the
fucking tell
doubt.
me. Don't suggest that Eastern
I like
Europeans bathe.
Yeah, I just like to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Well,
Just
and
trying
it's
to
like,
be open and progressive.
you know what's funny? So you said the like they would sleep from 5 p.m. to noon. I have heard stories where like other cultures will sleep like 4 hours, wake up, do some
Yeah.
shit, and then fall asleep for another 4 hours. And apparently, I don't know if this is true, but some years ago, and I don't have the source. I read something that said bodies actually, like human body was meant to sleep 4 hours, and then you wake up and do shit, and then sleep another 4 hours.
Yeah, I
And
heard
it
that.
wasn't supposed to be 8 hours all the way through.
Yeah, I read that actually it was customary for like in the past, previous centuries. This was a long time ago. But people would do exactly what you mentioned. They would sleep for a period. They had like a first sleep. They would wake up. They would do some shit in the middle of the night. It wasn't like didn't like put in a whole work day, but like they would wake up. They would like flip the laundry. They'd like do a few things, like write a letter and eat a bowl of gruel. I don't know what the fuck they did, but they'd be awake for like an hour or two. Then they'd go back to sleep for another 4 hours or whatever. They'd get their 8 hours, but I don't know why they had to do some laundry in between or whatever they had to do. I just imagine them like out in the dark, like pounding the laundry and stuff like that. Like, how they used to do it to get it clean.
Yeah.
They like get it and they'd be
The
pounding it again.
women.
Yeah, well, obviously. Yeah, obviously. Clearly.
Because that's where they fucking
I'm
belong.
sorry I didn't even say that. I thought that was just implicit. Like, obviously.
Yeah, that's what that was. Those little European kids running around saying women don't belong in the workforce, and I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
They were nice kids except for that,
They would have loved Rose.
I can't believe they pay these women a whole 70 cents to my dollar.
I can't. You know what's
Come
really
on,
funny?
America. Truly is the
You
land
know-
of the free.
Land of the fucking stay home and wash my clothes, bitch. You know what's really funny? So we had they had outdoor cats. Okay, the Ukrainians, and they were nice cats, but they would come around, like they would disappear for like weeks on end and they come back. But they were feral. They were outside cats, like I have in my fucking bathroom right now, which is insane. I don't
Just
know what
weird.
I'm doing. Maybe I should just throw them out of the window. I'm on a third story. I'll throw them out like fucking Brett Favre before he had the copper tone sleeve. He had that one fucking snap chin strap, drop back in the pocket. Brett Favre was really comfortable in the pocket. He dropped back. He wasn't going to run. You knew Brett Favre was not going to run. He stay still in that pocket and look for that receiver. You target him, quick release, bang, right there. And so I'm thinking about just doing that, just throwing them out the window.
Yeah.
But they had feral cats, and somehow they were more friendly than the ones I have in my bathroom.
That's just a matter of time before they warm up to you. I bet next time we talk, I bet Rose is going to be your best buddy. I bet she's going to be sitting.
She's already my best buddy when she told me that blacks shouldn't have equal rights. I was like, you and I are going to get along.
Wow. That is a terrible cat, man. That's awful.
She's so you know what? You'd be shocked at the level of articulacy that Rose has. She's speaking English quite well.
I can't believe it. I mean, it's like she learned English just to be racist. That's her commitment to her level of racism, is that she learned human language just so that she could like tell a black joke or something like that. You know what I mean?
You know what I'd like to find out? I wonder what world language has the most racial slurs. Because you know how some languages have words that aren't necessarily words in other languages? Like it's not a straight translation word to word between languages. The Chinese have like a crazy ass long fucking alphabet. Like nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. So I wonder
knows what the fuck Chinese is. You ever look at them Chinese characters and just think, fuck is all that? How are you supposed to read all that shit?
It's just a fucking the autistic kid that I saw in Petco today, just drawn on a fucking canvas. That's basically what Chinese is. But
Chinese,
I
I think the
wonder.
Chinese have a lot of. I mean, like we think the Americans do. Like you start thinking, like, wow, we got a lot of really insensitive words for like races and ethnicities in the English language. But I bet I think Asian people like low key. Like I hate to throw them under the bus like that, but I'm willing to bet in Chinese, however many words we got for all the different races and ethnicities and stuff, they got double. They
Well, and
easily got double.
you know what's crazy too? Technically, the most diverse country in the world is China because there's so many different types of Chinese. Like
Yeah.
there's so many different types where if
Yeah.
you count them, they're technically the most diverse. So
Yeah.
I guarantee you
It's like
each
they got Hunan
Chinese.
beef, and they
Oh
they
yeah,
got Mongolian beef, and they got Szechuan, and they got fucking sweet and sour. They got every different kind of flavor. And you
yeah.
think, well, they're all Chinese, right? But it's like China is huge, and there's a ton of like minorities, even though it's very difficult for us to visually discern them in the way that we would here in the United States. You can look at somebody like yourself and see, wow, that's an Irish looking motherfucker. Then you look at somebody else like me and think, wow, that dude with long hair looking like a Viking, he must be Norwegian. Then you can look at somebody like my homie Zeus, and you might say, well, this guy is obviously Hispanic descent, right? You can look and you can see like visually, like I mean, look, we can tell, right? But then
Yeah.
in China, you can't tell. You look at, they could line up 5 different Chinese dudes, all of different Chinese ethnicities and racial groups, and you're just like, I don't know, they all look Chinese to me, dog. I mean,
They
I'll
all look
take your
like
word
they
for
all
it.
look like the enemy.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it because I
No,
mean,
but I bet if there's a language that has the most racial slurs, I bet it's Chinese. One of the Chinese, like Mandarin or
yeah,
fucking.
it's
That's
gotta
the only
be.
one I know.
It's gotta
But
be.
fuck,
It's gotta be.
I mean,
So
they look. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you how happy you are that New Jersey legalized weed because I understand you're there.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a huge weed smoker, but I mean it is, but you know, my homesick because I'm not from New Jersey. I live in New Jersey now, but I'm from South Dakota. South Dakota legalized at the same time New Jersey did, and I was like, really? So when it happened, like both happened on the same night, I was like, Jersey sucks, man, because we have enough fucking poor people and degenerates in New Jersey that it should have been passed in like 1996. Okay,
Yeah.
in South Dakota, I completely understand why it took this long. Here, I have no fucking idea why. And it's like when Phil Murphy got in, that little fucking faggot, he's a faggot, okay? I don't care if you like him politically. He is a faggot. He spoke at my
I've never heard
graduation.
of it.
Phil
I've never heard.
Murphy is a faggot. Faggot Murphy. Governor Faggot Murphy. He said in his first, like 2 years ago when he got in, he was like, my first thing, we're going to do infrastructure and we're going to legalize weed within the first 100 days. Didn't happen. And I was like, okay, well, now what? Because now that's what you said you were going to do. And that was like your guarantee. And then you just didn't. Now what? And then it just kind of popped up on the ballot with the fucking presidency. So there's like Donald Trump, Joe Biden, a bunch of people that I didn't know, except Cory Booker. I just voted whoever was against Cory Booker because he's a bitch. And then weed. And I was like, that's the thing. That's my ballot. People I don't know, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and weed. That's my ballot. That's where we're at in America. And I was like, okay. First of all, by the way, I can't critique that because that ballot was my wheelhouse. Okay. Whatever, like that ballot, if you go up to me and go, Donald Trump, I'm going to go, okay. And then you go, Joe Biden. And I'm going to go, okay. All right. What else? And they go, weed. And I'm going to go, where are you staying tonight? You're staying at my place. That's exactly where you fucking staying. That's my wheelhouse, right? So I fucking go in. I was like, I almost didn't vote for anything except the weed. I actually almost didn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And just so you fucking people who are so curious about who I voted for, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I didn't vote for Joe Biden either. I wrote in. I actually drove to a polling place and I wrote in Tulsi Gabbard. Look at me. I'm a fool, but I also did my civic duty. So fuck off.
There you go. I wrote in Kanye. JK, I wrote in Hillary.
Oh, you wrote in little Joe Jorgensen?
Joe Jorgensen. Yeah, I voted for I wrote in Hillary. I thought, why not? You know,
I wrote in Jeffrey Epstein with a running mate as Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah. Well, we know Jeff Epstein is not dead. We know he's still here. He's still kicking around.
You
Come
can
on,
call him. By the way, just to be clear, he can call him Jeff because he's friends. Don't call him Jeff if you don't know him. He's going to get
Yeah.
very upset.
If you haven't been to the island, you're not allowed to call him Jeff. I'm allowed
If
to
you
call
haven't,
him
if
Jeff.
you haven't fucked the kid that he gave you, you can't call him Jeff. Okay,
No,
you haven't
no,
earned that fucking right.
you can't at all. So, but you're not going to avail yourself too much of the weed. I'm not a big weed guy either, but I'm up here in New Hampshire. I'm like right on the line with Maine. It's legal as fuck in Maine, and it's like decriminalized as fuck here in New Hampshire. No one really gives a fuck unless you got like a whole brick. And then then they're sort of like, well, we kind of give a fuck, but no one gives a fuck up here. But I really don't. I don't really fuck around with the marijuana either, very much. I mean, you know, on occasion I dibble and dabble, you know, once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, first of all, I don't even like smoking it that much. If I do get high, it's through a very mild dose of edibles.
yeah,
Um,
edibles
and
fuck with me, man. My
yeah, they
homeboy
do.
Chris Wutsky, he was in the chat earlier. That guy ate a cookie one time and lost his fucking mind. He lost the ability to chew. Ironically, we were in New Jersey when that happened, actually, too. And he just couldn't chew. His jaw like locked up like this. He just like he couldn't talk, and he was like this, and he just ate way too fucking much. My wife had to take him back to the hotel and like lay him down and put a rag on his head. I think he met like DMT entities. I think he had like this whole spiritual awakening and shit. It was fucking crazy what that weed did to him.
Look, here's the thing: you have to be because edibles will fuck with you. Different edibles hit you differently. And if you take too much, you're gonna fuck yourself. You're gonna fucking taking too many edibles is like shoving a needle up your dick hole. It's just something that you don't want.
You don't want to do that. No, I
No,
don't.
and so if you're gonna take an edible, and basically just enjoy a buzz, you have to be willing to take a small enough dose to possibly not even get you high. You have to accept that beforehand and go, if I take this particular weed product may metabolize differently in my system and I might not feel it. But if I do feel it, it's going to be a very pleasant, mild buzz. So you have to accept going in, because when I was in college, I get fucking, joints, blunts, edibles, fucking whack, whatever. But now I can't do that. My brain is not set up for it. It's like, if I get too high, my first thing is like, did I leave the laundry on high? Is it gonna and I'm like, what am I? And then like, what's weird? I catch myself thinking retarded shit, but the emotion is still there. The anxiety is still there. Yeah. I'm like, I know what I'm thinking is absolutely mentally retarded, but I'm still very anxious.
But I'm still worried about it.
Yeah. So I can't get super stoned anymore. So I got to do, like if somebody gives me an edible, I cut it in like sixths and I take it and I accept fully beforehand that, hey, this might not get me high at all. I might just have to fucking be sober.
That's the best way to do it. Your method, because like especially with edibles, they take so long to like hit. You know what I mean? Like it's not like when you vape the THC oil or you hit a joint or something like that, or you shotgun a beer, like you feel it very quickly. With the edible, it's like you'll eat it and it's like an hour and a half later and you're like, really? Should I have some more? I don't know. Is this still good? Maybe it's a little old. I don't know. Did it get warm? Did it get too cold? And then you'll just be like, wow, I'm wicked fucking high. But if you eat too much, it's like, how do you get, because I did like a Nerds rope one time and the thing was like this big. And my buddy says, eat like maybe about half of that, like maybe a third. So I ate about a third and I got way too big on that. It was like, I was getting fucking paranoid about everything. Like, holy shit. I was just like fucking so worried. And then I couldn't sit still. I was like moving and I was just, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. It was one of the worst experiences. So I don't know, man. I haven't really fucked with edibles too much after that. Like I said, I'd rather do it your way, which is take a small micro dose it a little bit. Maybe not enough for you to like really feel high, but at least when you're laying there in bed falling asleep, you feel nice and relaxed. Because there's nothing worse than spending your recreation time getting fucked up and then just feeling like super fucking paranoid. I'd rather be in the backyard like throwing up whiskey.
Yeah, I would almost rather, because you never get, like when you drink, you don't get paranoid. You're just fucked.
Yeah.
You're just fucked up. You're just destroying your liver and body and, basically slowly committing suicide by drinking too much. But like when you when you get too high, the intensity of emotion that you feel is so and you know, like the other a while back, actually, it's not recently, I'd taken an edible and it was like I cut it into like sixths, and I was
Yeah.
like, fuck. It was one of those days I was like, fuck, I didn't feel anything. And then my girlfriend wanted to go get fucking I don't know, some weird Asian place. And so we walk and it was dark out. And then where I noticed it was the lights. Is
Yeah.
because I live in Montclair, New Jersey, which at night it's very lit up. They try to emulate New York City. It's a poor job, but they they have it pretty lit up at night. And so there's a lot of light stimulus, and I noticed it when I was walking. I go, okay, so I am a little bit, because this is definitely, the lights are hitting me a little bit like weird. Like why is that, why is that red neon sign looking so fucking red? You know, it's just,
Mm.
it was one of those things where it was like, I don't think that I'm high. And then I go, you just notice it in different aspects, not
Yeah.
enough to go like to be sitting on the couch watching a podcast and go, oh, I'm fucking high. No, you gotta you gotta work for your high. You gotta go out and find it. That's what a good edible high is. You gotta go out and you gotta
Yeah.
find it.
It
That's
should be
what
subtle.
that.
Yeah, it
Yes.
should be subtle. It's like you'll catch it every now and again. Something moves, and you're like, "Oh, okay, that was a little," like the brightness of the light or whatever. You like lay down and close your eyes, and you're like, "Yeah, okay, I feel a little high." That's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like when I ate too much and was like running around, like dancing in my kitchen. I just couldn't sit still. It was terrible.
So I recently visited a friend's house who like I've seen him smoke like back to back, just take like 4 or 5 dabs and then just have a coherent conversation. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This guy, let me preface this. This man is from the Philippines. He grew up in the Philippines. He has whip marks on his back, like legitimate slave whip marks on his back, because the teachers used to just have fucking whips. And if you acted up, you just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, they
Just
do that over there. That's why I was saying that it's got to be an Asian country that has the most racist words, because they're still down with like whipping people and
yeah.
shit. Like at
Yeah.
least over here, like, look, we got bad words in English for other people. We can still be hateful and insensitive, but at least by and large, most of us are against whipping people, and at least it's not done in public at like a school of all places. Like there's not a government official that's going to whip you or your child when they're disobedient in school. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he has fucking whip marks on his back. Like he's seen some crazy shit. Like he grew up in the Philippines. And so I went to his house the other day. And first of all, let me preface the story before I walk into his fucking kitchen. He's got a 20-pound bag of weed.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say 20? Like
20.
how much weed is that? That's got to be like a whole. I mean, it's got to be like this high on a table.
I've never seen anything like it. It was standing up against the fucking wall. It was a bag. It was like a Ziploc bag. It looked like a prop. Like I walked in and I was like, what is this? This is retarded. I was doing upright rows with it. I was building my deltoid strength with it. It was fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh.
But he goes, as I was leaving his house, he goes, hey, and he just gives me like a little jar thing. He goes, I take one before I go to sleep, and you're gonna be good to go. And I was like, oh, great. And I don't know, I had already smoked that day, so I was like vulnerable. I was
Uh-huh.
gullible. I was impressionable. So I was like, and I
Yeah.
got home, I'm just like, "Ah," and I just took it. And then I realized, oh, I'm not sleeping for the next like hour, because I was laying there and then I started thinking about, like he's like I remember like laying down and going, look at you. Where are you in life? And I was like it was like someone else. I was talking to myself, but
Yeah.
me talking to me was somebody else. And he was like, where are you in life? And I'm like, I don't know. And you're like, you're nothing. You're nowhere. You're a piece of shit. And I'm like, immediately I knew. I was like, fucking Kevin, you son of
Yeah.
a bitch, you fucker. You told me
Yeah.
this was not going to fuck me over, and it fucked me over. I was laying in bed. My girlfriend had been asleep for like 4 hours, and I was laying wide awake, sweating, trying to figure out what to do with my life. And
Yeah.
then I wake up, like I fall asleep for like 4 hours, and I wake up, and I'm sober at that point, and I'm like, it's like I was trying to recap what had happened. And I really was like, there was probably a lesson somewhere in there. somewhere in the trip that I should have learned, but I didn't. I
Yeah.
completely disregarded it and pushed it to the side, and I just got angry at my friend. That was it.
Yeah, the lesson you learn is don't trust a drug dealer named Kevin. That's fucking
Don't fucking trust a Filipino. That's what you fucking. That's what this
Yeah,
the moral of the story is. Don't
dude.
trust a fucking Filipino.
It's Filipino drug dealers, man. I can't believe you got weed, you got a fucked up edible from a Filipino drug dealer named Kevin. Like,
No, but here's the thing though. He's not even like he's not my drug dealer. He's just a good friend of mine.
okay. But I mean, with 20 pounds of weed, he may not be your drug dealer, but he's somebody's drug dealer. I mean, he's probably,
I don't know, bro. He'll literally take down like 6 blunts in a row and then run a 4.40. Like it's fucking. He's insane.
I know people like that. I'm not like that. You know what? It's like every drug affects people differently, and it's like
Absolutely.
the people. Like when I used to drink more, like I don't really get fucked up on. I definitely don't get fucked up on alcohol anymore. But like I'll drink like a beer from time to time, but I don't get fucked up on alcohol. I don't get fucked up at all anymore. But really, when I did used to get fucked up on alcohol when I was in college and shit like that, or years afterward, party or whatever, like I was always the chillest motherfucker. But like there'd always be those people that wanted to fucking fight and yell and tear shit up on alcohol. And those are the people that once you learn them, you're like, I gotta avoid this dude because I don't want to fucking go to jail. I don't want to get in a fight. I don't want to do all that aggro shit. So I'm not even gonna fucking call him to hang out and drink anymore because I want to have a few drinks. I want to chat. I want to eat something yummy, put on a movie, and just kick my feet up because the alcohol just, it just brings you down and like depresses you and makes you chill. It's the central nervous system depressant. It's supposed to fucking chill you out. But there's always those people who are like, they just want to get amped up. And it's that way with weed too. Like you have some people who are like, oh yeah, this shit is super mild. And you'll be like in fucking heaven on a hammock, just chilling out while angels tickle your balls. And it's going to be the most comfortable thing ever. And then you take it and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And you get like, you're sweating black shit like Rudy Giuliani down your fucking face. And you're just like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And then you're like, you motherfucker, you told me this was going to be relaxing. Instead, I had my sphincter clenched this tight the whole fucking time. And I was like this, and I fucking woke up and my neck hurt and I lost 10 years off my life for the fucking stress. I don't know, man. It's weird. People will say this, don't take this. It'll be fine. And you're like, all right, I'll pop this. And then you're not fine at all. And it's fucking annoying how that works.
Yeah, no, I don't even like I don't smoke blunt. Like I don't drink. I don't even drink anymore. So it's like
So what do you do? Just like meth or?
Yeah, no, most of my focus is on, bath salts, fentanyl.
Yeah.
And that's my mainstream. That's my main income stream. So hit me up. But if you got a kid that already came out of you, but you don't necessarily want it, bath salts are a good option. You throw that bitch in literally a bath full of bath salts with minimal amounts of water, and I'll throw the plug in. You watch that fucking baby just fade away.
That kid just like comes out like, ah!
No, hey, give him back to God.
Yeah. Toss Rosen with the bath salts, see what happens. See what that cat does after the bath salts.
No, she's fucking gonna. She'll come right out of that motherfucker just looking like a Black Panther and just go all she'll have a mega hat on and a fucking Confederate flag and she'll just hold it up and she'll be running around.
Like on her pickup truck, she'll come out of pickup truck flying the truck.
She's got the intercom system installed in her truck. She's just chanting "Blue Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, invade Iraq again. Dick Cheney was the best vice president in the world." And they're like, Rose, relax. And she's just drunk, driving, fucking got a handle of Jack Daniels. She's swerving back and forth, going 50 in a school zone.
Dude, you just described my nephew. When I moved in, I mentioned I mentioned my townhomes. Like when my wife and I moved into our condo, the one where they're fucking building shit behind, and I'm like, you cocksuckers. But when we moved in, we needed some help, obviously, from family. It's always nice when people help you move because there's heavy shit. And so my nephew has a truck. He just turned 18, just graduated high school in the spring, and he just turned 18 and he's got a pickup truck. So I was like, dude, I'll buy you pizza if you come help me move. I just want, you got a strong back and a pickup truck. So let's do this. I'll make it right for you. So when he pulls up in front of my new fucking townhouse, and I got neighbors and shit like that, he pulls up in this fucking truck and it's like 2 humongous Trump flags like streaming off this bitch. And I'm just like, oh God, my fucking neighbors are gonna see you in front of my fucking house in this beat to fucking shit truck.
Let me
And
guess. Let me guess. Let me guess. Let me guess. You look in the cup holder and you see grizzly wintergreen.
absolutely, absolutely, like a real fucking man, like a real fucking. I was like, can you spit that shit into my mouth? Because I'm a soy boy. I need you to just fucking juice me up like Popeye style. Just spit that right into my mouth. But no, I don't. The funny thing is, I'm so nervous about my neighbors seeing this fucking him with his Trump flag on his pickup truck. I'm so fucking nervous because I'm like, I gotta live here. You're gonna drive away, but my neighbors are gonna be like, oh yeah,
What was
motherfucker. And they're
that?
gonna get in my mailbox, dude. And so
Yeah.
then what's funny though is later on I'm thinking about it. I'm like, my worry is starting to die down because I don't think any of the neighbors saw it. And like the other half, I think are actually the other half of the people on the street who might have seen it, I think actually do also have Trump flags. So I'm like, okay, I didn't offend them or he didn't offend them. So I'm like, I'm starting to like the worry's starting to die down. The concern's starting to go away. And I'm thinking, this motherfucker just turned 18. He's never voted before. He didn't vote for Trump in 2016 because he was like 13 back then. I'm like, I don't even think I was talking to my wife. It was like right after the election. It might have been like that night or the next day, right after election day. I was like, do you think our nephew even fucking voted? I bet he didn't even fucking vote. I bet he drives around in a fucking beat up pickup truck with Trump flags. I bet he's never fucking voted.
Well, he actually can't vote. He sounds like a felon.
Well, he doesn't, thankfully, knock on wood. I'm going to knock on wood. This is one of my favorite nephews. He's a sweet kid, but his dad is like wicked into the Trump thing. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like he's a young kid. He's impressionable. And like his dad is super MAGA. So I think he just feels like it's what I need to do. Like he hasn't been an adult long enough to like, I'm going to read things. And he's not a big reader in the first place, but he's not like, I'm going to educate myself on the various like political arguments.
Not too worried about the delegation of legislative power, folks.
Absolutely not. No, I don't. First of all, he would just look at you cross-eyed when you said delegation, be like, what the fuck did you say to me? Like, I don't understand that word. So I'm going to assume you're being disrespectful to me, you cocksucker. So I don't think he would tolerate that very much, but it was just funny because I was thinking this guy is like driving around town with these massive Trump flags. And I don't think, not only did he not vote in 2016 because he couldn't, I bet he didn't vote in 2020 either. Cause like, fuck it. He's just driving around with the flags. It's like a clout thing. It's like, I'm just going to piss off everybody. Either people are going to honk and they're like, hell yeah, brother. Or they're going to be like, fuck you. And I don't know. I think he's just like, yeah, I'm owning libs, whatever that means.
Yes,
he just doesn't know what he's doing.
Libtards.
Yeah.
No,
I've never heard him say libtard before. So,
well, you teach him it. You be the good fucking
Uh-huh.
uncle, and you teach him that term. And then you go have him go to school, and then just have him have no friends because he's running around saying, "I'm owning libtards online."
That kid is done with school, man. 18, graduated high school. He is done. That kid's never cracking a book ever again.
He didn't. His application to Brown didn't get passed.
No, can you believe it? I think it's because he didn't get, like, he asked his previous professor to
not enough extracurriculars was the problem.
Yeah, I think that was the main problem, is that he actually got a B in one of his AP bio classes that he took his senior year. Yeah, I think that was the real big issue. And you know, that teacher had it out for him. I mean, he only got a B because he had a Trump flag that he brought to school with him or whatever. You know, it's that stupid biased AP bio teacher fucking got him.
All right, buddy. I really hate to cut it short, but I gotta run. My girlfriend and I, we still.
Yeah, man. You got a feral cat, and we're at an hour and 45.
I've got two fucking. I'm dealing with two feral cats. One a Black Lives Matter supporter, one a Blue Lives Matter supporter. They're clashing in the bathroom. My girlfriend's trying to moderate the fight, and I'm like, listen, baby, you got to be like Chris Wallace. You got to debate. You got to moderate the debate. You got to fucking. You got to give them both equal time.
It's not gonna be easy having one cat who is racially diverse and young and tender, and another cat who is just this hateful old bigot set in her ways.
She's only 4 months. She's like your cousin. She's like your nephew. You basically described to me my cat. It's young. It doesn't really know anything. It just has talking points, and it just is angry.
Yeah, it just heard it from its dad, and it's like, don't you realize you're inheriting this other, like, think for yourself, you know, like if you're going to be a racist, at least get there organically on your own. That's
yeah,
all
have a different reason to hate black people, okay? Don't come up to me and tell you don't like black people because they're
Your
lazy.
dad-
Tell me that you don't like black people because they talk on FaceTime in public too much.
If you're gonna be bigoted against minorities, at least don't do it because your dad does it. At least get there on your own. You know what I mean?
100%.
Go live life.
And that's the moral I would say of this episode.
Yeah,
Be
I would
racist
say that
for your own reasons.
for your own reasons. Okay, don't just pick up your daddy's hate. Don't inherit your daddy's hate. Okay, be hateful for your own reasons. Okay, you have them. Be hateful for your own reasons. Fly those Trump flags for your own reasons, not because your dad expects it of you. Okay. Tell the people who are listening where they might find you as well as your podcast, The Unfit Statesman.
Okay, so I am at Unfit Statesman on Instagram and Twitter. And then I think on Parler, I'm at Unfit Statesman Podcast. I would assume most of you are rational people, so you're probably not on Parler. But if you happen to be, and you like doing what I do, saying disgusting things and getting away with it online, at Unfit Statesman on Parler, at Unfit Statesman Podcast on Parler. And then my podcast is on right now Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts. I've been trying to get it on Google. Google has not been letting me on, and I don't understand
Weird.
why. Yeah, I know.
I got a website that might help with that. I got a website where you like register your shit because the Google has to get their web crawlers like all up in your RSS. You got to like bet your RSS basically needs to bend over and spread its cheeks and allow Google to enter in. And there's a website that helps facilitate that. I'll hit you with that.
Good. But yeah,
I got one of mine up on Google like real quick, couple of days.
Okay, cool. Definitely. So that's where you can find me.
Fuck yeah. All right. Well, I do thank you for your time tonight. I want to say that I really appreciate you not saying the N-word at all. Was very, very nice.
Did you see how red my face got throughout the podcast? That was just like
trying to hold it in.
Dull N-words not coming out. It was like all in.
When you said at one point you said H-bomb, and I was like, what kind of racial slur is an H-bomb? Like, I'm familiar with the N-bomb, I know what that means, but what kind of an ethnic slur is an H-bomb? I'm sitting here trying to think of all the racist words that start with an H, and I was like, oh no, he means an actual hydrogen bomb. He means an actual nuclear bomb. He doesn't mean a bomb of a like terrible racist word. It actually took me about 3 or 4 seconds to be like, oh yeah, okay, never mind. Coincidentally, I still can't think of an H word. So to my audience listening, between now and next week, maybe there's one. Maybe you can find one and let me know what your terrible racist H word is. I would love to hear it at Party Naked Pod on all the socials. Shit happens when you party naked. Check out Inner Circle Podcast Network, innercirclepn.com to find all the fantastic Inner Circle podcasts like The Plunge, Sam PC, hashtag No Offense, The Hood Diner, and Failing Hollywood.
I gotta hit them up. I gotta see what I can do. I want
They're all
on
good
mine.
people. They're all good people. And in the meantime, y'all, peace, motherfuckers.
Low voice, I was in the crib when my balls dropped. Earthquake when they hit, bro, they split rocks. Now my girl's hotter than that summer asphalt. If she turn me down, God knows that it's her loss. Baby, what's your number? Baby, what's your name? I'm about to head to my house, you should do the same. I know you like the way I rap.
Oh yeah, faded out beautifully for the Facebook crowd. Let me hit this whole end broadcast.